All right, quick question for the grandparents watching this. If I told you that $1,000 you put away for your grandchild today could turn into about $93,000 by the time they retire, and neither you nor the parents could mess with it up along the way, would you keep watching? Good, because that's exactly what we're talking about. I'm Mike Malachi, CPA with Pink Harbor CPA, and today we're breaking down Trump accounts, what they are, why grandparents love them, and why they may replace savings bonds as the go-to gift for the next generation. And before anyone panics, relax. This is not a political video. This is a tax and money video. You don't have to like the name. You just have to like the math. Same way people still use healthcare from the exchange, even though someone once called it Obamacare. And real quick, before we go any further, hit the like and subscribe. It helps the channel, it helps the algorithm, and it tells YouTube that explaining tax law to grandparents is, in fact, a public service. So what are Trump accounts? At their core, Trump accounts are government-created, tax-advantage investment accounts for children, designated to grow money over decades. This is not a bank account. This is not a brokerage account. And no, your grandchild is not trading stocks between naps. These accounts are designated to be boring now and powerful later. The easiest way to understand them is this. Trump accounts are the modern version of savings bonds. Back in the day, grandparents bought savings bonds, put them in a drawer, and forgot about them. Trump accounts are meant to do the same thing, except instead of earning interest at a fixed rate, the money is invested for long-term growth. Here's the key difference, and this is why grandparents love these. With savings bonds, parents could usually cash them out if they wanted to. With Trump accounts, even the parents can't touch the money. Once it's in there, it's locked in for the child. No borrowing, no we'll put it back later, no emergencies turning into withdrawals. That's not a bug, that's a feature. Now, when did these come and why do they exist? Trump accounts were created as part of the federal tax policy aimed at getting Americans investing earlier in life. The logic is simple. Time does most of the work, and kids have more time than anyone. Congress didn't create these to make things complicated. They created them to stop money from being accidentally or intentionally drained along the way. Quick pause. Drop a comment below and tell me this. If you're a grandparent or a great-grandparent, would you rather put money into one of these accounts than buy a savings bond this year? I really want to see where people land on that. Now, let's talk about who qualifies. These accounts are child-based, not income-based. This has nothing to do with how much money the parents make. There is also something called the pilot program contribution, which is a $1,000 government contribution for the qualifying children. To qualify for that, the child must be born between 2025 and 2028, must be a qualifying child, must be a U.S. citizen, and must have a valid Social Security number. And this part is critical. That $1,000 is not automatic. Someone has to elect it when the account is open. Now, let's talk about the question grandparents care about the most. Can grandparents put money into these accounts? Yes, absolutely. Parents open the account, but grandparents and great-grandparents can fund it. What you need is the cooperation from the parents and a few basic simple details. The child's full legal name, the child's Social Security number, confirmation that the account exists, instructions from the parent or guardian on who controls the account. Translation: you can't just write a check to the IRS and say, this is for my grandson. You coordinate it with the parents. The money goes into the child's account and it stays there. Now, here's the important part. Funding the account does not give you control. You don't get access. You don't get withdrawal rights. You don't get to change the investments. You give the gift, and the gift stays with the child. Grandma can contribute. Grandma cannot rate it. Also, no matter how many people contribute, there is one account per child. You can't open multiple accounts to get around the rules. Now, let's talk about contribution limits, because this is where grandparents are very curious. There is an annual contribution limit per child. That limit applies to everyone combined. It's tracked centrally by the IRS and the Treasury. It is not per grandparent. So if mom, dad, grandma, and grandpa all contribute, it all counts toward the same annual cap. The exact dollar amount is set by law and finalized through IRS guidance, which means it can change over time. The key takeaway is this: these accounts are capped and monitored. And that leads us to the next question. What happens if the account is overfunded? Overfunding doesn't get ignored. Excess contributions can trigger returns of excess money, penalties, corrective paperwork, potential loss of the tax benefits if not fixed. Translation: coordination matters. This is not something where three grandparents should all surprise the parents with contributions in the same year without talking. Now, let's talk about how the money is invested. These accounts are not self-directed. You can't pick the S&P 500. You can't choose funds. You can't rebalance. The investments are handled at the program level by the government or its agents. Think savings bonds, not brokerage accounts. Less control, more protection, fewer bad decisions. Now, let's talk about why this matters. If a child qualifies for the $1,000 pilot contribution and no one ever adds another dollar, and that money grows at a reasonable long-term rate of 7%, by the time that child turns 67, that account will be worth about $93,000. That's $1,000 quietly turning into about 93 grand just by being left alone. That's why parents can't touch it. That's why grandparents can't take it back. That's why its structured is strict. Now, can the money ever be taken out early? No, not by the parents or the grandparents. Withdrawals outside of the allowed rules trigger taxes, penalties, and even a disqualifier for the account. This is not a piggy bank. It's a protected long-term vehicle. When the child becomes an adult, generally around the age of 18, the account can be converted into a Roth-style account in the child's name. Contributions are not taxed. Earnings may be taxable at conversion, but most 18-year-olds are in a very low tax bracket, which often makes this an excellent planning move to lock in decades of tax-free growth. Now, how do you actually open one of these? Trump accounts are opened by filing IRS Form 4547. This is not a bank application. It's an IRS selection form, and one form can cover up to 2 children. If all this sounds like more than you want to deal with, that's okay. I'm Mike Malachi with Pink Harbor CPA, and we help families with this and all of their income tax planning and preparation. You can use the link in the show notes to schedule online, or you can call us at 856-226-9524. We do this stuff every day, so you don't have to worry about getting it wrong. So here's the bottom line. Trump accounts are modern savings accounts with better growth potential and stronger protections. For grandparents who want to give a meaningful long-term gift without worrying about how it's used, these are worth serious consideration. If this helped you, hit the like button and subscribe so you don't miss out on future videos where we explain tax and money topics without making you regret clicking. And tell me in the comments, savings bonds or Trump accounts?